Okay guys, let's get started with this. So the first thing I need to do is determine what kind of or what size diamonds I'm going to be using. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to be using a 3mm in the center and 2.6mm around the perimeter. I want the center stone to be just a little bit larger. Before I go ahead and do any modeling of the topper, the first thing I'm going to do is replace this stone, and I'm going to come over and I'm going to use my Blender Gems tool. Let's turn on screencast keys first. I'm going to turn on the Blender Gems tool and actually the Jewel Craft tool. First thing I'm going to do is use the Jewel Craft tool to come over and add in a gemstone. So we're going to make this 3mm. So I'm going to add a 3mm stone. I'm going to bring that up here. I'm going to get rid of this stone here and just put this back in the middle. Okay, so with that back in the middle, now let's import a ring shank. Instead of modeling a ring shank, I'm just going to use my Blender Gems library to go ahead and add one in. So I'm going to use a school ring, and we'll grab this particular one right here, hit append. Okay, so this model here I know is a size 7. I'm going to leave it a size 7. So I want to model my ring topper to go along with this. To do that, I'm going to hit Shift A, and I'm going to add in a mesh cylinder. Before I do anything else, I'm going to give this 200 vertices so that it has some better definition. And let's see here. Seem to have lost my ring, so we'll bring that back in. Now take this cylinder here, I'm going to bring this up to the top, and now what I want to do is size it to fit the surface of this particular mount, this particular ring shank. Let's name this shank. I'm going to move this over to my scene collection. And the cylinder here, I'll put that over in my scene collection also. And I'm going to size this to fit. To size it to fit, what I'm going to do is hit the S key to size, and I'm going to hit Shift Z so that I'm only sizing along the X and Y axis, as you can see here. I'm going to make it about that big. That looks good. Looks a little bit too deep for me. I'm going to bring this down a little bit. SZ, I'm going to size that to about here. That looks pretty good. And now that I've got that done, I'm going to hide my shank. So we'll disable that from the viewport. We're going to call this topper. Okay, so now that the topper's done, I'm going to put that back in the middle, Shift S, and selection of cursor. Okay, with that done, I can start modeling the inside of my topper here. And what I want is an indented top and an indented bottom. I don't want them to be necessarily the same, but we're going to make them a little bit different here. I'm going to go into edit mode. With my face tool select, I'm going to grab the upper face, and I'm going to grab the bottom face. So I'm going to hold the shift key down, select that so both faces are selected. With both faces selected, I'm going to hit X to delete, and I'm going to delete the faces. So I'm left with this rim here. I'm going to come back up to the upper left corner. I'm going to select my edge tool here, and I'm going to grab both the upper and lower edges. So Shift, Alt, and then I'll grab that one, Shift, Alt, and grab the bottom one. Perfect, just what I wanted. So now I'm going to hit Extrude to extrude these, and then S to size them a little bit smaller. And what I'm going to do is hit S, Shift Z, and I'm going to make them smaller along the X and Y axis to about here. That looks pretty good. I'm going to leave that just like that. Let's go into model mode. Now I'm going to take my diamond here. I'm going to duplicate this, Shift D, press Enter. Now I have a duplication of that. I'm going to come over to the Items tab, and you can see the second diamond I added was 3mm. Let's make that 2.6. So I'm going to size that down, S, and then I'm going to size that down to about 2.6. 2.6, right about 2.7. That's pretty good. We'll leave it at 2.7. With that done, now I want to add in a curve, and I want a circle curve because I want my diamonds to follow the perimeter around our original diamond. To do that, I'm going to hit Shift A. I'm going to come over to the curves option, and I'm going to add in a circle. I'm going to size that up to about here so that I have a good distance around the original diamond. And we want 6 diamonds around that, so I'm going to grab the second diamond here, We're going to put that in our scene collection here. We're going to call this 2.7 diamond. And then I have this one here, which is the larger one. We'll move that up to our scene collection. And we will call this 3.0 diamond. Okay, so let's grab our 2.7 millimeter diamond. I'm going to hold the shift key down, select our curve. And I'm going to go back to the Jewel Craft tool. And I'm going to hit distribute along curve. Now you can see it puts it all the way around there, but I don't need that many diamonds. We're going to only want 6, so I'm going to drop this down to 6. And it looks like I'm still a little bit too large, so let's make this 2.6 millimeter. That looks pretty good. I think I'm going to make, just need to move this over. That perimeter effect looks very good, just what I want. I'm going to grab the curve, and I'm going to hit the S key to size it, and I'm going to just drag this out just a little bit so that the side diamond's just a hair farther away from the center diamond. Okay, with that done now, I can finish my topper. So I'm going to come over to my topper, I'm going to hit the tab key. You can see I still have the upper and lower rings selected. Let's look at this from the top. And I'm going to hit size again because I want the inner circumference of this to be covering the outer perimeter of the diamonds, like so. So I'm going to hit S, Shift Z, and then I'm going to size it in just about like that. And if we look closely here, you can see that the girdle of the diamond is covered by the perimeter of the inner loop of the frame of our topper. Okay, with that done now, I am going to hit extrude and then Z, and then I'm going to hit size, and I'm going to bring this down just about like that. That looks good. And now I'm going to hit F to draw the faces on both the upper and lower portions, just like so. Okay. I'm happy with that. I'm going to look at this from the side view just to see my depth here, and what I want to do now is grab my tool, my face tool here. I'm going to grab this lower face just like that. I'm going to come back under the front view, and I'm going to move this face up just a little bit so it's like that. To give you a reason why I'm doing that is because I want a little bit of space in between. If I hit all, I can move this down and just put that right about like so. So my diamonds, if you look closely through the invisible mode, you can see the girdles of my diamonds are sitting on top of the upper part of the ring topper. And if I turn off invisible mode, you'll see what I mean. That's exactly what I want. And we have some diamonds protruding from the bottom. If we look at this from the side again, you can see our cutlet is kind of protruding from that, but that's okay in this particular instance. Okay, now what else do I want to do? I'm going to go back into edit mode with our frame selected. I'm going to grab this particular face here, and I'm also going to hold the shift key down and grab the bottom face. And with those two faces selected, I'm going to come over to our modeling menu here under faces, and I'm going to hit poke faces. That just gives us some geometry to both of those faces, and we'll need that to do the Boolean cutouts for the cutters. I'm going to hit the tab key, go back into modeling mode. Now, the outer perimeter of each of the 6 outer diamonds is covered by the perimeter of our frame. If we want to make that cover just a little bit more, we could actually select this, just size this down a little bit more so that we have a little bit more of the diamond being held in place by the perimeter of our frame. Now, that's a good way to do that. That would allow us to keep prongs out from the side and take away from the diamond look. But we still need a way to hold the diamonds in from the center. So to do that, because we have 6 diamonds, what we're going to do is select our center diamond, and we're going to come over to prongs, and we're going to add in 6 prongs. Conveniently, if we look straight down, you can see the prongs are in the right place to hold all 7 diamonds. So we have the center stone held in by the 6 prongs, and then we have each of the 6 diamonds held in by 2 prongs, each around the perimeter, those same prongs. They're all shared. What I want to do now is shorten these because you can see the prongs are protruding through the bottom. So we'll come over to our prong tools here, and I'm just going to shorten these up so that they are buried within our model, like so. And then I'll come over to the top, and I'm going to shorten these up just like so. And I'm changing this parameter here, the top dimensions parameter. I'm just going to lower that just a little bit so it's like that. That's exactly the look that I'm going for. Now that I'm happy with that, I'm going to select our prongs, and I'm going to hold the Shift key down and select our frame. And I'm going to come to the Boolean Modifiers, and I am going to add in a union modifier so that we join those two together remeshed. Okay, if I go into edit mode, you can see our model is now completely remeshed. Now that that's done, what I can do now is give this just a little bit more artistic style. So I'm going to hit Control A on our frame, and I'm going to apply the rotation and scale. With that done, I'm going to go back into edit mode. I'm going to come over and grab my edge tool right here, and I'm going to select one of these edges. I'm going to hold the Shift and Alt key down, select the outer perimeter along the top, and I'm going to hold the Shift and Alt key down and hit the bottom, so then both rings, the bottom outer and the upper outer ring, are selected in our model. Once that's done, I can hit Control B, and I'm going to apply a small bezel to this. And right now it's a chamfer edge, but we're going to round that out with the mouse wheel. And once you get it where you like it, you can just click off of that. I'm going to go back in the model mode here, and you can see now we've got a really nice shape to our ring topper. The next thing I have to do is apply the cutters to this particular model. So to do that, I can select one diamond. With that diamond selected, I can come over to our Jewel Craft tab and then hit select by, and I'm going to select by stone. So I've selected all 7 diamonds. With those diamonds selected, I'm going to hit the cutters tool on the Jewel Craft tab, and that puts in the cutters for us. Now that those cutters are there, what I want to do is cut those out of our frame. So I'm going to select all 7 cutters, just the cutters, hold the Shift key down, select our frame, come back over to Boolean, and I'm going to apply a difference. This might take a second here, and once that's done, there's our model. And if we want to see if there's any errors on our model, I can move this up, and you can see it cut those out perfectly. And we have the small indentations for the channel setting along the perimeter for the diamonds to be held in place. So far, so good. Let's put that back. Okay, now that that's done and it's modeled correctly, that's our ring topper. It's complete. So what I'll do now is just bring in my shank. So let's go find our shank. We'll unhide it. I'm going to zoom out here. I'm going to take our shank and I'm going to lower this down. Oops, wrong model. We'll grab our shank, but we're going to lower that down so it sits on top, just like so. And now the customer is going to want to see a picture of this and how it's going to look. I'm not going to bore you through how I go about getting a render done, but one of my next videos that's coming up will be how to get photorealistic renders so that you can show off your artwork or pass them off to your customers. So I wanted to let you see how easy it was to make a 7-stone topper. You can apply that to a 9-stone, a 15-stone, as many stones as you want. Just just fit your diamonds in with the appropriate sizes. If you like this video, guys, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing. I always appreciate the subscribers. And if you have any comments, requests, or anything else, please see the description below or leave comments in the comments section. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day, and thanks for the encouragement.